Hello dear friends. In this lesson we will get acquainted with the concept of artifacts in GitHub Actions. Artifacts are somewhat similar to the cache we worked with in the previous lesson, but there are differences. The first difference is that when working with the cache, it is stored for 7 days and we can store up to 10 gigabytes, while with artifacts they can be stored for up to 90 days. And we can set how many days we want to keep them as long as we need. So if we want them to be stored for 90 days, we can set them to be stored for 5 days. Physically, these are the same files that are uploaded and stored somewhere. We can upload them and we can download them for further work with them. So we will have two actions. One is to upload an artifact and the other is to download an artifact so that we can interact with them. The most important difference between cache and artifacts is that we use the cache when we need to save files that don't change. For example, our dependencies for node modules are the same today as they will be tomorrow. But with artifacts, we throw in those files that are generated by jobs during various steps, meaning some dynamic files that will be generated anew with each run of the workflow. For example, our dependencies for node modules are the same today as they will be tomorrow. In artifacts, we throw in those files that are generated by jobs during various steps, meaning some dynamic files that will be generated anew with each run of the workflow. For example, some test is happening and each time the test results are different. Either we build it and we can throw the entire source code build into a directory and create an artifact for it. Let's upload it too. Alright, let's get started. We're going to create a new workflow for our lesson. So, have the 15th. So we will run it on push. Let's write a few jobs, tasks and assignments that we need to complete. No, we will have just one job for now, not several. But later on we will probably create several jobs since we can interact with artifacts. Inside this workflow, during one job we can create and upload an artifact, and during another job we can download it and use it. Let's embark on our initial task, which involves setting up a job. This job will be executed on the Ubuntu operating system, a popular choice for many developers due to its robustness and flexibility. We need to meticulously outline each step involved in. In this tutorial, I'm going to use a mathematical expression as a command to sum 2 plus 2, and I want to put that in a meta file called mathresult.txt. At this step by step, I've carefully and precisely created the expression in order to achieve the desired result. Next, I want to upload and share the file that I have prepared, which contains this mathematical expression. I will need an action that uploads an artifact. I'll also attach a link to the documentation for this action to the lesson. So the current version is the third one. Note that each action has a range of capabilities. They're all described in the documentation. In our lessons, we use the most basic trivial options. I recommend that you always scroll through and check out the capabilities because they are really quite impressive. So you can solve a lot of things using these actions. So we use uses and insert the action. Right now, this is the third version. This action will request various parameters. I'm going to pass it two parameters. I'm going to pass the parameter name, which corresponds to the key for the file name, and with this key, I'll be able to reference and use this file later if I need to. I'll probably set it to mathresult like this key, and the second parameter I'm going to give it is the path to this file, so it knows which file to add to the artifacts. I'm literally giving it a specific file. You can also specify how many days to keep this file. You can skip at any point in time, and it will retain it securely for a period of 90 days. In this very simple way, we are now able to create an artifact using our upload action. Let's push these changes forward and see what's happening. Commit in push. Let's go to our repository, the Actions tab. We have an exciting new action and a brand new workflow is starting. Notice that the workflow has finished, and here we get this math result file, meaning an artifact is created for us. We can, for example, delete it, or we can download it by clicking on its name. And in the logs, basically, we have nothing. Here's our command that we wrote. The artifact that is created using the action, let's download this artifact. Let's open it. Let's see what's inside it. Inside there's first of all the file math.result, and it has 4. As you remember, we wrote 2 plus 2. And in the end, we got the math expression saved in a file and created as an artifact. Let's move on. Now we're going to create a new job, a second job, and in this job, we'll take this value. In this step, we are going to carefully and efficiently download this particular artifact file, which is essential for our process, and I will appropriately name this step as download file. I'm literally going to use the action to upload it now. And I'm simply going to pass it the key that I want to use to retrieve the artifact. As you remember, my key is this mafresal, so I'm passing mafresal as the name parameter, but there's a mistake here. We need to remove it. So at this stage, we have the downloaded file. Now let's output it to see what's written in this file. So let's create another step. Let's write the print file and run the command. In this particular case, the command will be 2 lines. Therefore, we will definitely use a special character. And first, I'm going to get the value. And in the second step, I'll output it. And let's try to push a little bit more consistently with effort and determination. One moment before we push, we need to make sure that these jobs don't run in parallel, but sequentially. Right now they're set to run in parallel. To make them run sequentially, I need to add the needs parameter and specify the job ID. That absolutely needs to finish before it. And basically, everything looks right as of now. Let us go ahead and push this. Let's go to the repository, Actions, and refresh. Here we have a new workflow starting. We're waiting for the first step to finish and create the artifact. The first step has finished, and the second step is being created. So the second step is going into a loop because I have encountered an unexpected error here, which is the latest issue we need to address. Let's do the following. We'll carefully finish this action by ensuring all steps are completed. We've thoroughly fixed the error by checking all related components, and now let's commit the changes and push them to the repository again, making sure everything is synchronized properly. Let's certainly check the actions. A new one is at the moment starting. We're right now waiting for the first job to finish. It has actually finished. We can take a look at what's inside. And the second job has finished too. Let's go into the second job. Let's check the download tab. So, he managed to do it. Yes, the artifact has been successfully downloaded. And let's see what's in this artifact. So, it couldn't read the command because I put quotes around it. But it needs to... Let's run it again. Go into the actions and wait for it to finish. This time successfully. Now, let's see what we have on the screen. Right now, we're getting the value that we have in the file, which was 4. Just to remind you, we did 2 plus 2, put that into the artifact file, and in the second job, we retrieve that file, read it, and display it on the screen. But we can improve this, and we can change the value in the artifact at an intermediate step, upload it again, and then get the new value in the third step. Let's implement that too. So, at the intermediate step, we'll add another step and call it another job. It will also run on Ubuntu and other Linux distributions. Let's do some copy pasting so we don't have to write for too long. It runs on Ubuntu and will wait for the first step to finish. More precisely, the first job. The first step is his downloading the artifact. Next, it's not a print file, but a mech expression. We're going to create some mathematical expression. We take the result into the variable value. Next, instead of echo, we're going to use expression. And the current value is value. We're going to multiply, so we have 2 plus 2. Let's multiply it by 2 to get 8 in the end. And we'll put this back into that specific file. Here we use this particular symbol, which is used here. And now, after we've downloaded and made the manipulations, we need to upload this thing. So here's the step from here that already uses upload artifact. Let's copy paste it. And we add it. The third step. So let's take another close look. First we download using download artifact, do some manipulations, and then we upload. We're already using upload artifact. We set the name and path exactly the same as in the first step, and that way we'll just be modifying this file. And the last thing we need to do is, in this second job, wait for not the first but this another job, meaning it will run third so that we can see the final result in it. So now everything seems to make sense logically. We're committing and pushing. So we have 3 jobs and they're all sequential. Let's wait for them to finish. The second step, which is the Anabor, is complete and the last step is also finished. Let's check in the last step. We should get 8. And yes, we really do get it. If we look at the first step, we're doing the expression 2 plus 2, throwing in the file, and an artifact is created. Next, in the second step, we download this artifact file, do the necessary calculations and expression, and multiply the value by 2. Then we upload the artifact back to the server. And in the last step, we download this artifact and display it on the screen. And so we get 8. That's the principle when working with artifacts. That's it for this lesson.